Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortensia Carty.
Thank you for joining us for this Wednesday edition of GMSKN. We proceed now to the latest in local news. This from Win Media SKN. Republic of China Taiwan resident ambassador to St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Michael Lin, is commending the efforts of the Nevis Island Administration (NIA) for promoting hands-on learning in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. The ambassador praised the NIA with that move as he presented a U.S. $15,000 check to the Honorable Troy Liburd, Minister of Education, to assist with the well-being of the young people of Nevis. He said, quote, "The first ever STEM week in late May 2023 is a testament to your commitment to provide the students with the opportunity to develop their interest in a skill in this critical area and to potentially become a future scientist. I am pleased to announce that Taiwan is donating US $15,000 to fund the mission of education by the Nevis Island Administration. The funds will be used towards various expenses for hosting the STEM Expo on May 26, where students will be showcasing their projects. We are proud to be a part of this initiative and to support the Nevis Island Administration's vision for the future." End quote.
Our second story comes from SKN Vibes. The Royal St. Kitts Golf Club is proud to announce that junior golfer Clayton Harry-Dial is heading off to compete in the Caribbean Junior Golf Championship, which is being held in Barbados. It started yesterday, April the 11th, and it concludes on April 14th. Clayton, who previously represented St. Kitts in a lower age group in 2019 and won in his category, is ready to take on the competition and showcase his skills on the course. A member of the Royal St. Kitts Golf Course, Clayton has been training hard and recently won the low gross in the April monthly medal competition with a score of 69, beating out other local stars. President Mr. Ziki Percival was on hand to present Clayton with his prize for winning the low gross, as well as a contribution to his tournament entry fee and other expenses. President Percival said, and quote, "Clayton is already a winner in our eyes, and we have all the confidence that he will take home the trophy," end quote. The executive of the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club and its members wish Clayton success and look forward to welcoming him back to the Federation with the winner's trophy. "We are all behind Clayton, and we will be cheering him on every step of the way. He is a true ambassador for the sport of golf and for St. Kitts and Nevis."
Best of luck to him as we proceed now to a story from Win Media SKN. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Trier, is expected to attend a regional symposium on violence as a public health issue, the crime challenge, in Trinidad and Tobago on the 18th and 17th, the 17th and April 17th and 18th, of April 2023. The symposium will be hosted by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, and various CARICOM heads of government are expected to attend. According to regional reports, Trinidad and Tobago Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Dr. Amory Brown, at a news conference said that the reaction across the region has been extremely positive, and they are anticipating a significant turnout from CARICOM heads of government and more. Brown said, quote, "The event will be hosted over a span of 2 days when the root causes of violent crime, the antithesis. A number of research projects have occurred around this theme. A public health approach addressing violence and crime will be presented. We will also have commissioners of police from some of our neighboring countries coming here to share their perspectives. One of the messages is that this epidemic of violence is not a Trinidad and Tobago issue alone. We are united with the rest of CARICOM, very much feeling besieged, as well as other developing areas. So this is something we are approaching in solidarity with fellow member states. They have important perspectives to share with us, lessons learned, etc. And we also have important perspectives to share with the rest of the region. So a very important meeting indeed.
Indeed. Now for the weather forecast, it is partly cloudy with a high of 81 and a low of 72 degrees Fahrenheit. It is currently 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at your hourly and the remainder of your week's weather. And stay tuned, regional and international news.
no cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Our regional news comes from Loop Caribbean. ExxonMobil Guyana on Tuesday announced the arrival of the floating production storage and offloading vessel Prosperity, the third oil platform that will operate in the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana. Prosperity was built in Singapore, and earlier this year it was named and launched by the wife of President Irfan Ali. It joins the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity FPSOs, which are currently producing more than 380,000 barrels per day. The vessel is part of the Payara development, which is the third development within the giant Stabroek Block offshore Guyana that is shared by ExxonMobil, 45%, Hess Corporation, 30%, and China National Offshore Oil Corporation, 25%. The vessel has an initial production capacity of around 220,000 barrels of oil per day and an overall storage volume of 2 million barrels. Officials here said production from the Prosperity vessel is expected to push daily production to an estimated 600,000 barrels daily next year. ExxonMobil Guyana production manager Mike Ryan said in the statement, and quote, "The arrival of the Prosperity FPSO is a testament to the strong partnership between ExxonMobil Guyana, the government of Guyana, our co-venturers, and the many suppliers that support our operations. We are excited to contribute to Guyana's energy future and create lasting opportunities for the nation's growth and prosperity." End quote.
And in international news from CNN, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is heading to China on a state visit this week, with talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping expected to focus largely on trade as well as the war in Ukraine. The 77-year-old Lula had originally planned to visit Beijing last month, but was hospitalized with a bout of pneumonia. On Monday, his office announced that the trip is back on, with Brazil's goal to relaunch its relations with the country that has been its main trading partner since 2009. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva poses for a picture with Argentina's President Alberto Fernandes during a bilateral meeting in Brasilia on January 2, 2023. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva took office on January 1, 2023 for a third term as Brazil's president, vowing to fight for the poor and the environment and rebuild the country after far-right leader Jair Bolsonaro's divisive administration. The Brazilian delegation arriving in China with Lula on Wednesday includes businessmen, state governors, congressmen, and ministers who seek to sign over 20 bilateral agreements with China on agriculture, livestock, tech, travel, and tourism, among others. There we end the latest for today. We'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. See you then.
Yeah. an exotic experience.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Miss Angela Tallaght Hamilton was one of the 7 women inducted into the Pioneering Women's Gallery at the International Women's Day Award ceremony. The Pioneering Women's Gallery is an annual ministry initiative that recognizes females who are the first in their fields. Let us all join in welcoming Miss Angela Hamilton, the first female referee for the St. Kitts National Football Association, to Good Morning SKN this morning. Good morning, Miss Hamilton, and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you.
Alrighty, I want to talk about a name. I see Tallaght Lewis. I see Angela Tallaght Hamilton, and then I see Tallaght Lewis. Let's talk about that name, Tallaght Lewis.
Okay, I am married.
Okay.
17 years.
Oh, congratulations.
With 3 sons.
Okay.
My maiden name was Hamilton when I became the first female referee.
Okay.
That's why it was used as to easily identify me.
Okay, okay. So you're now Mistress Lewis?
Yes.
Okay. And the Tallaght, what's the Tallaght?
Tallaght is a nickname my sister gave me growing up.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a story there, which I'm not going to ask you to share, but that's fine. Obviously, it's stuck, as has your love and passion for football. So let's talk about how they began.
Okay, growing up in our community, I originally from Buckley's Estate, and we was a very close-knit community, and we follow our team around everywhere. If a match was at the Gardens, we were there. If a match was at Connery, we was there. If a match was at the Landkeel, we was there. We were just following our team. Back then, we were sponsored by Bodohu Restaurant. And it was just, we wanted to see the game go on. So when you find that there was no referee, somebody took up the line, the flag, so the game go on. So that is how I got involved. I started going around, taking the flag when need be, until I was spotted by Stedroy Teixeira, who is now deceased.
Okay. So who was your inspiration to take the flag up? The fact that you followed the game everywhere it went. Who inspired you to take the flag?
Back then, I just wanted the game to go on.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
if we didn't have a lineman, we couldn't have a game.
Oh, oh, okay.
So teams used to just find somebody on the line to say, run the flag.
Oh, okay.
I know that Tish, as we would call him, I worked with him, so he had a very keen eye. Let's talk about for a second who had the biggest impact on your football career. Was that Teixeira in any way, or was that anyone else?
Instead of Teixeira, because he would have seen me out on the lines throughout the community, and he would have invited myself to join the association, which I did.
So he pressured. Did he have to pressure you? That's the question.
No. I would have traveled to England during the early 90s to represent Hainsmith Youth Club as part of a youth exchange. And my experience in England made me wanted to do so much when I came back. So as soon as I got back from England, I joined the Referees Association.
So did you attend any football games while in England?
No. It was a lot of...
Okay.
No, but I really want to know about that, because obviously it inspired you so much. What were the activities that inspired you when you were there?
Okay, we went, there was this lady, Evelyn, when she came first, the leg was first in St. Kitts. So we would have done some work at the children's home. And then when we went to England, we did some work at a community center there where we share our culture. Back then we would have been trained by Wallen to the masquerade while we were there. And we learned how to do t-shirts, silk screening, and how to do other things made you want to be a part of youth activities.
So you were recognized as part of the Pioneering Women's Gallery. How did you feel being chosen?
At first, I said, finally. Because over the years, after being the first referee, you go to the park and nobody even recognize you. No, the Football Association never said, take this complimentary ticket. It was like you made your contribution and you were just left behind. That's how I felt. So when I said, okay, wow.
Oh.
So it's year after year you felt that, and then finally somebody recognized you. What does it mean for you in terms of the opportunity to, say, empower other women? Because you're obviously a trailblazer, pioneer. What does it mean for you to receive this award? Do you think it puts you on some sort of pedestal so that you could shine a light, as it were, for other women to know they could accomplish great things and be recognized doing what they love?
I don't think it put me on a pedestal, but because I'm very humble, actually I didn't even see it as a big deal. I just thought, okay, wow, I was honored, and that was it. I was just surprised to get this call. But what I can say to other women out there, as a woman, you can do anything. Believe in yourself, and you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish.
Listen, there's such grit in you right now. I mean, honestly, there's such motivation coming from you. I can feel it, right?
No, because what you may not know, I was also the first vice president of the Referees Association. Because one Sunday, during the AGM, I went to the meeting in a dress. And somebody said, how come you're wearing a dress? I said, because that's what you all want me to do, come to the park in a dress. Because you all keeping me back. I remember attending the Futura course, which was done by Dino Suppliatis from Canada. And what he said then to the Football Association, we need women referee. World Cup is coming up. You need to video Angela games, send them to me. and I would help her. That's never happened. Yes,
Wow.
it never happened.
Why do you think that is?
Well, that was part of the Football Association duty. The information was given to the then president, and nothing was ever done. So that in itself was a dagger in my stomach.
I can imagine so, but yet here you are now.
Yes.
Showing, by the way, if I may, this wonderful certificate, which I had the pleasure of reading. So congratulations again. Beautiful. I'm glad that you've been finally recognized.
Thank you.
Ms. Hamilton, how did you, I don't want to say survive, but how did you manage to maintain your persona among all these men? Because I read where you were amongst just men. You were the only woman.
When I first joined the association, the men were very supportive.
Oh, nice.
They was very supportive. You had men like Earl Clark, Ian Patches Liebert, Trevor Wallace, Carlton Dupont, Weatherman, Franklin Dorset. You had Mr. Harris from Overlodge. We had Troy Biff Mills. We had so many men who were very supportive. And not only that, growing up, the crop of men back then was very supportive as well. Even now, when I walk in the street, you would hear them, referee on your back. You know, because it was always supportive, and they're not like today generation. They respected me, and that was the biggest thing that really made me stay in it so long.
Okay, you mentioned being vice president. Why did you not pursue presidency?
I didn't go to the meeting to run for any position. It's just that I just had to tell them how I felt that day. And after my speech, the men then decide, oh, we have to vote for her.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the challenges that you've experienced, if any, because I heard you say something, and I just want clarification on it. You said that the former generation of men that you were around respected you. They're not like today's generation. Have there been moments when you felt disrespected by younger men as a referee?
No, back then, as I said to you, the guys back then, they was very respectful. We had men like Rock, Dwight Allers, you had Pepe, you had Star Brown, all of those. They was very respectful, and they had the teams them well manners. You understand? So they know when I came to the dressing room, you had to be quiet. And I didn't used to play. When it come, the national players knew there was no favoritism. Vaughn Sosa could tell you he got the most red cards from me.
Was that intentional?
No.
Okay.
I think he was a little feel like, no, you're a woman. So I had to stop him.
Put your foot down.
Fair enough.
I like that.
So were there any challenges in particular that you've encountered?
No, it was smooth.
I like that. And on that note, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more in a moment. Stay tuned. Yeah.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are speaking with Miss Angela Talent Hamilton, the first female referee for the St. Kitts National Football Association. And I like to say that you're a trailblazer because you were the first, but there were others that followed. And there's a second person in particular that you want to speak of now.
Oh, Sandra Cotton. Sandra Cotton, actually, she was my friend. So it was easy for me to get her to come along with me. So with a little help from said Whitey Shower, she became the second female referee, and we both attended the Futura course, which was done by Dina Supliatis.
How important was it for you to have that type of sisterhood in an environment where there were a lot of men?
It was a balance. Yeah, at least I had somebody I could nudge in my corner. Yeah.
So when did you ladies decide to hang up your gloves? Because you said neither of the two of you referee anymore.
After I became a mother,
okay,
I just decided, okay, this is it. I have to.
But you're all into motherhood. Okay.
Well, that's a very fascinating point, one that I want to pick up on, because you are a mother to boys, if I'm not mistaken. You did say that, 3 boys. And I understand that they are athletic as well. Why don't you tell us about them?
Okay, I have 3 sons, Elijah, Joshua, and Josiah. Elijah and Joshi is very much involved in cricket. They most recently would have been on trial for the under 15 Leeward Island team. Joshi would have traveled to Nevis in December as part of the training camp. Elijah was also a part of the under 17 and under 19 trial team as well. They all played for St. Kitts as well. Elijah would have traveled sometime to Antigua to represent St. Kitts in the under 15 team. Elijah also took the gold medal in the most recent BHS sports for high jump.
Oh.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
And what about the sole son that's into football like mom?
Josiah, he loved football. But
he's not played yet?
He just doing little.
Okay.
Yeah, he don't like cricket at all.
Sounded like me for a minute.
So here's the question. Obviously, you're a proud mother, you're an accomplished referee, footballer, etc. How much of the interest of your sons do you think came from you? How much of their interest in the sport came from you?
My love for cricket. Both me and my husband were into cricket. So it was easy for them to get into cricket. And I would have also played for the Buckley's female cricket team. We win the championship for many years during the female tournament. And they normally call me the rescue, because if my team needed to win and he had 2 balls and 2 runs, bet your life we're going to win.
I like that name.
So I'm changing your name now from Angela. It's going to be Angela Talent Rescuer Hamilton.
All right, if we can focus on the whole bottle of your accomplishments, and you had to pick 1 or 2 that you would say were your greatest accomplishments, what would they be?
Giving back to the community. Okay, I was a part of Haynes Smith Youth Club for over 20 years. I serve as the secretary treasurer for almost 20 years. Yeah, and back then we was involved in so many things, clean up the community, the village around, or the Caribbean shore. It was just going. So I always find myself involved in some type of activity. But I always find time for church.
Good stuff.
Keeps you focused, doesn't it?
Yes.
And grounded.
Yes.
Those activities that you mentioned before, the Ian Smith's committee, are there any plans to revamp them? Because I know everything just went dormant for a minute, even before COVID. Everything was like it was going downhill.
People change.
Okay.
People focus are different now. You don't have youths want to be involved with certain things anymore.
Okay.
But we're bringing back the Caribbean show.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's going to be back.
Ooh, you heard it here first. I like that.
I like your energy. You need to come back more often, honestly, because I'm not a lover of sports, but just your love of it. I can imagine how infectious your energy was on the field. When you were around the players, I can see it in your sons as you talk about your love of sports. I feel like I want to get your input, but it's controversial, so we'll talk off air about some recent games, but yeah, that's a whole other conversation. For now, I want to know, in terms of anything that you can say at all to encourage anybody, because you've already talked about encouraging women, they can do anything, encouraging an interest in sports and interest in pursuing any goal at all, what would you say?
I would say, give it everything you got. Nothing is impossible with God. And I always tell my children, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Is that what got you out of bed on difficult days?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to tell you a part of me now. I was diagnosed with scoliosis at the age of 13.
Wow, I hear that.
Scoliosis is a curve in my spine. And it was not easy going to school. You find children was like calling me names, saying all kind of things. And my thing about becoming a referee was one of those things, to show them, hey, I can accomplish anything. And that is why I am proud of myself today, because I did not just accomplish it, I am now recognized for it.
Yes.
And those two things are important. You're absolutely right. The accomplishment and the recognition. And the adversity that you overcame to even be here, which is a testament to who you are.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. Thank you so much for being here. I love your energy. I love the sports. And I ask you something off here. Yeah. But a pleasure to meet you, Tally.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Same here.
You're very welcome. All right, we'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It's time for another edition of Quote of the Day, the segment in which we candidly discuss quotes from persons all around the world. Today's quote of discussion comes from Heraclitus, that's it, an ancient Greek philosopher who is credited with saying, "The only constant is change. The only constant is change." So, in a bid to share my first thoughts on the quote, I would tell you it does seem a bit contradictory to present constant and change or constant and variable in the same thought. But we're saying here, at least he's putting it out there, that the only thing that is constant in life is the fact that life changes. And I really cannot disagree. What do you think?
I can't disagree as well. And life changes. No day is the same. As we go through the weeks, we go through the months, we go through the years, every day is different. We learn something different, we do something different, we go through some different feeling or emotion. So every day is different, and nothing stays the same. I'm gonna go with the supermarket basket. You remember back in the day, we could have gone to the supermarket with $100 and come out with a full basket. Now we're coming out with the receipts that are long from here to Nevis, and our baskets are still below the line. We have 2 baskets, yes, but they're still below the line. So you see, change.
At least you get change back, right? But never mind. The only constant is change.
You
That's
don't
my
even
plan.
get
That
change
word.
now, because remember the one cent does
I was kidding.
I just had to put that in there. Yeah.
I was kidding. So the question is, how important is it to embrace change?
I would say extremely important. As I would have mentioned before, nothing remains the same. So we should embrace it, even if we don't believe in the change that's happening. And I would have said this yesterday, we just have to think about it, maybe educate ourselves some more on it, and then just try to find something that is common for us.
For change?
Yeah.
How so?
Because sometimes, like me, I didn't like cell phones. I was the last person in my family to get a cell phone. And it's basically them saying, so how are we gonna call you? And my mom, like, if I need something and you're out there. And so I sat myself down and I'd be like, look, you're anti-technology, but you need to be contacted. So just accept the change and get the cell phone. And then eventually I got the cell phone, and now I can't stay off of the cell phone, which is really bad.
Well, perhaps you need to embrace change and stay off the cell phone.
That's one I'm working
again,
on.
We're on the importance of embracing change. Change is not, well, it might be a constant, but it might not necessarily be palatable depending on a lot of variables. And so the question is, how easy is it? Instead of how important is it, how easy is it to embrace it? Because it depends.
It's easy as you make it, because I don't even want to touch this topic because it's very touchy. Us having to call certain people by pronouns that they weren't born with. That's something that we were taught not to accept. in a sense.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I always thought it's he or she. There's nothing else there.
Okay.
But the fact that I am not going to judge, lest I be judged as well. So I have to accept that, and I just have to accept the change and let whoever's going to judge. That's not my place. Well, so that's a change that I have to get accustomed to.
Here's what I will say, particularly as it relates to our context in the region, more specifically in St. Kitts and Nevis as I know it to be. When we talk about change, change is a part of life, obviously. We know no greater change, I think, than when we go to the polls, because that's a change that everybody sees. After whatever many years, we change our leaders. Yet, even in doing that, if you listen to the dialogue sometimes, and people say, well, you know what, nothing has really changed. I can't see a change. And so even though the people in positions to affect change are different, the question is, if you look at it long enough and be distant enough from it, so that you're outside of it, and you say, look at what happened 30, 40 years, whatever. Do you think that after a while, we just realize that there are patterns? And so it doesn't matter what change we see in the moment. The behavior generally is still constant. It's just that what happens affects different people, but it's the same thing affecting different people. So if I have resources to allocate, I might allocate it to you this time. If somebody else comes in, same type of resources, but you don't get any, somebody else who gets it. And so we might get into a situation where it's cyclical, where we notice, yeah, we have changed short term. The question is there really anything that changes? To bring the quote back into our discussion here, or is it just more of the same behavior affected differently?
Oh.
And then we can move on.
Because in our neck of the woods, St. Kitts, I think we want to see the change like that, instantly. But as you said, sometimes you say same thing, different day. But I think we should give the individuals the opportunity, a year or two maybe, and see the change. Because right now, everybody's saying there is no change.
So you heard it too.
Yeah.
Those are the rumblings. Yeah.
I think we should give it time, because sometimes change takes time. As I said, in context with accepting certain things, you take a while before you accept it. So allow the change. Wait. Don't just think that you get in today, you're going to see the change today. No. The only change you see instantly is the ones after you pee, right? So, yeah.
And or you could just change your expectations if we're talking about that, because maybe a lot of us have expectations about the way that things ought to be. And so, you know, since you can't control what's outside of you, you control yourself, and maybe you just modify your expectations to suit the circumstances. Might work, right? Might not.
Indeed.
Depends.
So why do you think it's difficult for some people to accept change?
Because we want things. And when we want things, we strive to get things, whether they're goals, whether they are tangible things. And we don't want to let them go. And so if we're working to that, then why would I change it if that's my course? It's not necessary. That's one aspect of it.
Because some people that have, like some of the older folks that have the back in the day mindset, and they're not moving forward to know that the youths of today are not those of old. And they're like, back then they would have got this, and back then no. But you have to go with the times and understand that what you would have told a youth back then, you cannot tell a youth now. You can't tell them, oh, go so no. You need to, because of all these gentle parenting and all these different styles that are in, we need to be considerate of the feelings of others. And I find back then, I don't think the older folks really considered our feelings. It was like what they said, go.
Perhaps not, but that brings a wider topic into the discussion when we talk of culture. And when we talk of culture, by definition, it's the way of life of a people which changes as circumstances change. So as much as, you know, older people might default to what life was like before, and as much as I see us trying to bridge that gap of connecting old cultural practices to new cultural practices, somewhat resistant or insular to insulating ourselves to those external factors that might cause it to change. New cultures emerge because there is an embracing of that change, and it's by default just something that happens. over time, gradually, as you might call it. And so back to the quote here, the only constant is change. That is true because change happens. Why it might be difficult to embrace it is because we like what we know and what we are familiar to, and we go to those things by default.
So that is true. And as I said before, being open-minded and not having a rigid outlook on life. Like, we just have to accept what is. We may not believe it, but we just have to accept what is. As I said, judge not, lest ye be judged. So we just have to live fairly and open-minded.
Well, that's the whole point. I think that when we have discussions like this and we talk about politics, which I introduced, and we talk about the whole sexuality type situation, sexual orientation and so on, which was a little more subtle in its introduction. When we talk about those things, it's important for us to remember that we need to keep respect at the fore, right? And so just because we think a certain thing doesn't give us the right to project our thoughts or feelings onto someone else. We control ourselves, so we operate accordingly, appreciating, as it were, the importance of putting ourselves in other people's positions, because I think one of the reasons we tend to be so resistant to changes is because we think that in some way, shape, or form, they violate our own beliefs. And so we want to protect ourselves from external forces that might threaten the way that we see the world. But you can go on and see the world the way that you want to see it.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that you have to adversely impact how someone else sees the world as well, because that is her right.
Yeah, let them be. The Lord is their judge.
So in that way, you embrace the change, and you might be constant in your belief, but you also are tolerant, knowing that not everyone has the same experiences as you, and so their belief systems are informed by different things.
The last one, Jamie. I think we touched on that, right? Letting go of old ways, tradition, beliefs, habits to grow and experience the beauty of evolution. As I said, back then we came up with a full basket and still some change. Now that's not going to happen. So we just have we have accepted. We are growing with the times because we're still going by, regardless of the price. All our biggest complaint is everything going up except our salary, right? But we're still going by. So we have, I would say we've let go of the traditions and beliefs, and we're just living.
Yeah, that's the way that you see it. I respect the way that you see it.
How do you see it? I want to know. How do you see it? Because we respect the change and we're going with the time.
If I were to read this again, honestly, if I were, letting go of old ways to grow and experience the beauty of evolution, it implies that growth comes because you let go of the old ways. But mind you, cautionary note here, you don't need to let go of everything.
No, and we don't, because as you rightfully said, we know the principle of what it is, but we just accept and we live peaceably.
No, I didn't really mean that. I mean, generally, as we progress as individuals, you don't need to let go of everything in your past, per se, because some of those things are important. We talk about change, and automatically I think some people think that when we change, we throw the baby out with the bathwater, as one of my colleagues used to say, right? Doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that everything has to be changed drastically. It just means that as an individual in charge, you kind of pick what you want to keep and what you want to change, and only you know what those things are.
Okay. So change definitely is constant. And we will close with that. And no, we're not closing the show, so come back after this break. There's more.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moen Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We have spoken before about the rat race, the cycle of pursuing the achievement of things, most commonly money, in hopes that they will bring us happiness, only to find out that in the end, that this pursuit was in vain. But is this always the case? In this segment of Loosen Up, we will be discussing the question, can money buy happiness? Jamie, can it really buy a happiness?
It absolutely can.
In what way?
Indirectly.
Indirectly. So what would you say indirect happiness is?
Having clothes on my back.
Okay.
As opposed to being exposed to harsh elements.
You can wear the Emperor's new suit and you'll be fine.
But I would have to have clothing, right? Which is purchased with money.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, I think money provides the opportunity for you to fulfill your needs in an easier way than it would be to fulfill them without it. People who don't have money have difficult lives. Let's be realistic. That's why we help them through charities and all these other things that we do.
Yeah, they sure do have difficult lives. But then, Jamie, when I look around at sometimes some of the most wealthiest persons in the world, they're the most unhappy people that I know or I see, because I don't know them per se. They're strung out on substances that they shouldn't be on. I think about Mr. Jobs when he said he has all the money in the world, but he cannot cure the sickness that eventually led to his death. And that makes me think that money really doesn't provide happiness.
You know, we say that, but in the same vein, and that is true, and that's his example, but in the same vein, there are a lot of people who can't afford medication.
That I know.
That would actually save their lives or make their lives better simply because they don't have the financial resources. And so in that way, we can say one, but we can say two as well, right? And that's where I say indirectly it can, because we live in a capitalistic society and money is the driver of a lot of things.
The more money we get, the bigger we live. And that's my thing. To me, if one becomes wealthy, like you suddenly come into an inheritance or something, why is it we don't live the way we lived on before?
Why would you?
Why should you escalate and waste the money? Then the money will have longevity if you live the way you were living. Let's say it wasn't a bad life. Let's say it was a middle-class life. Why should I suddenly change my location, build the next house, get a car? And that's what I notice with people with money. I'm not bashing anyone, but just saying, once they reach a certain salary, they live a certain place, they have a certain car, they do a certain thing. And we have excelled. So we spend more money than if we had stayed in the same position, maybe fix a few things on our normal house.
No, I'm just saying, when we think about that, if you have more, you enjoy more. And so,
to an extent.
And life is finite. You only have a certain amount of time on the third rock from the sun. So what would you be preserving it for?
You're not preserving it, you're ensuring its longevity, because before, I couldn't go to a trip to Italy. I come into an inheritance. I could go to Italy and beyond. Let's say that, right? So do I go to Italy every year just because I can?
Well, you know what? We could discuss this all day. But to continue our discussion, we'll be reviewing some points for and against the topic, and we'll share our thoughts on them. So here are some points, whether money buys happiness or not. So here's the 4. Money buys happiness when it increases your quality of life. That is exactly what I said.
Okay, fair enough. But I just think you should, tuck away a little for a rainy day. That's just how I go.
Well, you've got the against.
Well, it's the little things in life that matters most, for real. Because money can't buy a smile. Money can't buy love. Money can't buy...
Hang on, it can. On the second one.
But that won't be
You
love.
just wouldn't know that it's not love. You might think it is. So let's just call it what it is.
The shade.
I'm not kidding.
But money can't buy love. Money buys you things that you pretend to be in like with the person that buys them, which
That's
is
fine,
being
but
fraudulent.
If you're on the receiving end of it, how are you going to know it's not love? You're not going to know that.
Wow. And I don't like that. That's why money don't buy happiness, because those people ain't happy. Because if you're happy, you ain't going to do that.
I don't know.
Just for a Birkin or Gucci sandals or LV shoes.
You're aiming too low in any event. Let's move on.
I got
All right.
those.
So we've got other arguments here for the fact that money, the argument, the point that money might buy happiness. Here's the 4. Money is just one piece of the puzzle. How you spend money increases your happiness. It's not just having it, it's actually how you spend it. Does it increase your happiness? Does it make you happy to give to someone else because you were able to fulfill a need that you wouldn't be able to if you never had the money to do it?
But that 4, I would say sharing the money with my closest friends and family would bring me some kind of happiness, because maybe they don't have what I have. So I won't mind sharing some with them, or as you said, with charities, with orphanages, etc., etc. I won't mind. So that would give me happiness. But just to buy something that's going to give me happiness for a few hours and then it's like, yeah,
no,
whatever.
If I buy a jet and I can go wherever I want, it's not going to give me happiness for a few hours. It's going to give me happiness for a long time.
That jet needs fuel, constant fuel.
Doesn't matter. It's still going to make me happy. It's mine.
Oh, okay.
All right? That's it. And there were some people, I don't know, some people buy spouses. How happy are they? How long? Ask that question again. It still applies.
It's a divorce, yo. As you said, the person's going to figure out eventually that this person doesn't like them.
And then they still have to pay for the divorce and alimony payments. There you go. You know what?
But what if
money can buy happiness?
But what if their lawyer can prove that they were just in it for the money?
Doesn't matter. Money can still buy happiness, Hortensia. There you go. That's my argument. I'm sticking with it. We have some pros, we have some cons. All right. So here's another 4.
Well, no, against.
Oh, you didn't go with the against. Okay.
No,
forgive me.
You'll never be satisfied. And I just said that. Yeah,
well, that's why I thought you went with it.
No, you'll never be satisfied.
Hey, money can buy a new tablet if I drop it, right?
Jamie, hold up. For the lady that just bought a new Birkin, right? You know the Birkin bag. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Some people have closets of Birkin. And I'm sure some of those Birkins don't get moved. But the whole fact that you're wasting money on these Birkins and these Birkins don't accumulate or they depreciate, why do I have so many of a Birkin bag?
I don't know. It's their blueprint.
So they're never satisfied.
You do realize that when we live, each of us has what I like to call the blueprint. It's not my terminology. It's something that I read years ago, and unfortunately I can't attribute it to the author since I forgot who that is. But each of us has a blueprint. There are things that guide or design our lives that we aim for based on what's important to us. For some people, their blueprint is having money. What they do with it is the design. It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to build from this? But that's what's important to them. So as we continue this discussion, let's see if any of these things apply to you or us. Here's the 4. Money can buy valuable experiences that were otherwise not afforded to you. That's the very first thing that I said.
Including your jet.
Opportunities, experiences. Let's be realistic. We treat people, we don't like to say it, but we treat people very differently based on our assessment of how much money we think they have.
Which is
and
sad.
A lot of those checks have to do with the job that they have, how they present, how they present physically, how they speak. And we do it. We discriminate every day. We go, oh, you're wearing that, but that doesn't look too, you're wearing that, oh, that looks like money. Oh, yeah, maybe you are more polished or whatever. And we do it. So, it's just what it is. That's exactly how it is.
It's sad that the rat race continues because all the rats do is run over each other and they never really pass each other. Maybe they have one in the front, but the majority of them See a big rat nest. They're just trying
Yeah,
to.
but we do it in our society, even, and I think that a lot of us, when we talk about money buying happiness, if you think about the way that our society is structured in large part, we're happy just for the association with people who seemingly have money because we're like the beggar looking for the crumbs from the table, or looking for that association so that it gives us that sense of belonging to the upper echelon, if I would call them that, of society. And so there were things that we do to one another in order to identify with the people that we've identified to as belonging to the upper echelon of society. We've identified as belonging to the upper echelon of society. And so I see it all the time. You call it a rat race. I say, look at us fighting one another for limited resources, not realizing that the people who actually control the resources are this big.
Yeah, that's correct. And I was listening to Jay Shetty, and I can't remember the guy's name yesterday, and he was saying you can live in the world but not be part of it, because he mentioned the same rat race situation. Just know that you're just passing through for a limited amount of time. You live your best life. You share with your brothers and sisters. You share with society. You make a powerful impact, and then basically you move on, because that's it for life. So being part of the rat race and wanting to be known, and that's the same thing he said, to wanting to be known and wanting to be favored, really doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense.
You know what? I wish I could say that I understand absolutely, that makes no sense absolutely, but I honestly don't think that it does, because for people who go through what they're going through day to day, in the short term, being part of the rat race really does make a difference. That's just some people's reality. I mean, we can sugarcoat it all we want, but there are some people who would kill for an opportunity to just be recognized or noticed, and hopefully that takes them up the ladder, because that's what they're trying to do. All right, so that's what it is. But before on this one was that money can buy valuable experiences that were otherwise not afforded to you, and there's the against.
Money can't buy time, genuine love, or friendship. Said that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So the love is fake. The love is fake. It's just things.
But you know what? When we think about the way that we do this, and I said it already, we judge people. I mean, yeah, how many of us actually go out to see someone's heart? We see the presentation first. And if that person cannot afford to present in a certain way, some of us might never even look beyond that veil to find out what's inside. And it's just the reality of it.
That's why we have to go deep and be our true selves. And I say this all the time. If you know you look whack on a regular, look whack. Let them really look for your heart. And that's what I say all the time, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We shouldn't just polish up and show up and then
I get it. But
ruin
that's
people's lives.
That is the ideal. And we live in the real world. And so when I say to you that I understand before, it's because for a lot of people, that is their reality. And so in a lot of ways, what you have or what you don't have can either open doors for you or make sure that they're closed.
Exactly, shut them.
Of course, for another day, we'll talk about who you know and not what you know, but that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. It's a little dark in here, isn't it? The shade, Cortezia.
No shade.
No shade, the reality,
None
right?
whatsoever.
Real world. In any event, we'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Our next guest is Ms. Vertily Henderson. Vertily was awarded in the category of the Blue Economy during the St. Kitts Department of Gender Affairs International Women's Day Award ceremony. Pleasure to meet you, Vertily. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, so let's talk all about fishing. I haven't had the opportunity, so this is a great one for me, to actually sit next to a fisherwoman and talk about life, talk about what it means for you to do all of that stuff. So how did you begin fishing?
Well, I start fishing like go on the rocks. Take up my brother line and go on the rocks and fishing. And then afterwards I get in with a fellow named Franklin and I start to go and this water with it.
Wow, okay. And how long ago did you start?
Well, as I told you already, I can't recall because I do that from since small.
That's what I wanted to get to, exactly, whether you were doing it.
Small.
Yeah, great.
So you basically followed your brothers who were fishers?
Yes, from my brothers to my uncle until I met a guy named Franklin and a guy named Larry. Right now working with Larry, just fishing, pull traps and do fishing and so.
So I must ask, are you an excellent swimmer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So are there any other fisherwomen in this career?
Well, you have one and to go on the rocks and so they do a little fishing, but not to say like how me doing it and this water.
Okay.
And that's the important thing, because as we talk about how you developed your skill, obviously you said you started, following your brothers, then you actually went out. So you could paint for us the picture of what's different about going out on a boat as opposed to what the other people do, what you were doing first. How is it different?
We want me to answer like say trying to get other people to do that?
No, trying to fish from a boat, like going out there. Is it better? Is it harder? What is it like?
Well, it'll be rough out there sometime too, Because many times we go out there and the water is very rough. And we just cannot do it. We have to come back. And then if the current is too strong, we cannot pull the parts them too. So we have to come back. Sometimes we do a little different trawling and so. Try to catch big fish like mahi-mahi, marlin, dolphin. My is a dolphin, tuna fish, and so it's a lot of fish we don't really catch.
Wow. So how far out do you go vertically?
Well, without the far way, so we don't really go is down at Station side now.
Wow.
Like when you're going to St. Martin.
Yes.
That's when we got pull the traps them and so.
Okay.
And then we come back.
Okay. So you go out, you set the traps, and then you come back.
Yeah.
How long does it take before you go back to pull up the traps?
Well, we don't do it once a week. So we do it Monday.
Okay.
We're going back until in a Monday.
That long?
Yeah. We have to let them soak.
Yeah.
We have to let them soak.
What do you mean you have to let them soak?
Like for fish, fish go into them before you go try to pull them back.
Have you ever had a trap that it was so heavy you couldn't pull it to the surface because it was that filled?
Yes, we happen already.
Wow.
With snapper.
Oh wow.
All right.
And with snapper, then when you reach up on the water, it float.
Ooh.
So you're in a lot of fish in it.
Oh wow. Okay.
What I wanted to get from you, obviously you're an experienced fisherwoman, is what's the biggest catch you've ever had? Because I know you document this stuff.
The biggest fish we ever catch between me and him is a marlin, 755 pounds. A blue marlin.
I want you to say that figure again slowly. How much did it weigh?
755 pounds.
Wow.
Do you remember how long ago that was?
That was just last year there.
Wow. That's great. What did you do with it?
Ocean.
Ocean. Okay.
Ocean bought it.
Okay. So for all you know, some of us have eaten it and we didn't even know it came from you.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Awesome.
So the fishing tournaments that they had last year was it Bay close to Golden Lemon? Did you partake in that?
No, we didn't partake in that. It's a while now we ain't taking no time in no fishing tournament.
Okay.
Because the guy who do it without go with is at Reggae Bar, Talk the Beach.
Okay.
So it's a long time we ain't gone to that.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting back to the award for a second. I congratulated you when I started. I said congratulations for getting this award. What does the award mean to you?
Well, I feel proud of it. Make me cry. Because the lady, she shoulder do it and then she surprised me a lot. And I cried.
You cried. Tears of joy, I bet, right?
Yes.
Did you feel like, after all of the years of labor, because we spoke to someone else recently who received that award, we spoke to that person earlier and they said, you know what? They've been working, they felt they weren't recognized. To get this feels really good. It feels like I'm noticed, you're noticing my work. Is that what you felt?
Yeah.
You mentioned receiving a trophy prior to this award. What was that trophy for?
The biggest fish we caught.
Okay.
At Total Beach and to see a woman enter.
Oh, that is so nice. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, you've got those markers to see a woman enter. And you know what? Let's talk about that. How common? I kind of get the sense that I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you because I want to hear it in your words anyway. How common is it for women to do what you do?
Basically, right? I can't understand the answer the one day right now.
Not a lot of women doing what you do.
You have plenty of women doing it, but not as how we do it.
Okay, so you're doing it differently.
Yes.
Okay, I like that too.
So who continues to encourage you in your fishing career presently?
Myself.
Wow. Do you have any young ladies that you mentor and let them know that they can do what you're doing as well?
Yeah, I used to tell some of my friends them like that. But I say they ain't like that.
Oh, they don't like it?
No.
So you've never managed to take any young woman out to see and let her see and understand what you're doing and become...
Well, you got some that go on the rocks and then
just
they just on the rocks.
Okay, they're not interested.
That.
We didn't ask you, and this is important because when you talk about the women who didn't like it when you tried to help them, I'm thinking, virtually I didn't ask you what you like about fishing. So what do you like about it?
Well, I like a lot of things about it. I like to go and pull the traps them. I like to go and catch the fish them. And I like just love this water a lot too.
It's great to be out there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you enjoy being a person that works for herself?
Enjoy it good.
Enjoy it. So you have no set hours?
Well, sometimes we go out the morning time, we come back like after 1.
Okay.
From 7 to 1.
Okay. So when you come back from the sea, what do you do during that time?
Nothing.
No. You just
relax.
Oh, wow.
Do I have to do home?
Okay.
And relax.
Okay.
So I like tomorrow now we'll go fancy, pull the chops them, and come back home, sell the fish them, and then relax again.
That's it.
That's the honest work I don't do.
Okay.
But if somebody asks me to help them do something, and I could afford to do it, I do it for them.
Okay, so it sounds like you're really empowered doing these things for yourself.
Yes.
That's great. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back and talk to you on the other side of it. So more Good Morning SKN in a moment.
Yeah.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue our conversation with fisherwoman, yes, fisherwoman, Miss Vertelli Henderson. What are some of the challenges you would have experienced as a fisherwoman?
Well, I experienced, this is a rough one. I experienced falling out in the boat.
Wow.
Going on and this is at the boat them to catch the mahi and me and my food went forward, but I didn't get damaged. But we catch fish.
Okay, I was just so alarmed because I was wondering if you were alone on the boat.
No.
Do that. You've never gone out alone, have you?
No.
Is that something that you do for safety? How many of you do it? Just you and your boyfriend?
No, my boyfriend anymore.
I'm sorry, your friend.
I
was not expecting. That's
that was nice. That was nice. That brought out a laugh.
I love that. So how many of you go out normally together?
Just 2 of us.
Just 2 of us. Okay, so there's always somebody kind of there just in case something happens, right?
Yeah, and I could handle the boat, I could stay the boat.
I was just gonna ask if you can do that.
Yes.
Oh wow. So when do you plan to get a boat of your own, or do you ever plan to branch out on your own?
No, never had planned to do that.
Okay.
But my brother there now, he tell me that he going into the boat business, so he want me work with him soon.
Wow, so you're in demand? You need to make more of your vertility? Because everybody wants a vertility to work with them on their boat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let's talk about the boating, because I like to delve into these things a little deeper. When you started, you know, going out to fish, do you remember what it was like the moment you started, you know, handling the boat?
Well, I used to vomit a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then I used to steer the boat turn this wheel in the wrong direction. And afterwards I watch him go and then show me how to do it, so I get into it.
Hey, you're really skilled. That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. What about making the traps and the nets, etc., etc.? Are you a part of that?
Well, I have my own chops.
Okay. That you made?
No, me
Okay.
make them.
Okay.
A guy cut them out for me.
Okay.
I will help and put them up, yes, but I don't know how to cut them out.
Oh, okay.
So a local guy makes traps for you to go and catch fish.
Yes.
I'm getting at that point because this is an industry that you're helping. It's like the economy. It's helping one another. Local traps helps you to catch fish that you sell, and you see how it all works together.
Yes.
I like that. What's the name of your guy?
Same by Larry.
Okay, that's great.
Same fella what I work with.
Okay. Okay, he puts them together as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is there ever a time when you go out to sea that you can't fish for some sort of fish?
Repeat that?
Is there ever a time when you go out to fish that you cannot fish for a certain type of fish?
No.
So you fish year round?
Year round.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I know some countries, you know, you can't fish for lobster, you can't fish for this type of fish because it has to reproduce and get more before the season starts. So there's no seasons here in
No
St. Kitts.
season.
Okay, okay.
Do you have a favorite fish?
If I have a favorite fish? Favorite fish for eat?
And catch.
I won't tell you.
Why not?
You know why I won't tell you?
No, I don't know.
Because I allow Dr. Fish bad.
Oh, yeah? Well, you just told me. Okay, that's great. That's great. Listen,
Which one is the doctor fish though? Because I'm not familiar with the fish. That's the skinny one? That's not
the brown.
The brown? Okay.
Some blue and some brown.
Okay.
They have a bone and the down by the tail part.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with the fish. So the skinny silver, long silver fish, what's that fish called?
Barracuda?
No, it's skinny. It has some fine bones in it. It's silver and it has a little black line. I'm not familiar with.
Me familiar with which one I mean then.
Okay.
So when you take her out, maybe you can catch one and then she can point it out to you, right? And you take her out to fish. Speaking of that, talking to you is so interesting for me. Have you gotten the opportunity to talk to younger people, like in school and so on? Have they come by to see what it's like in your day, what you do?
No, I never do that.
Would you like to do that?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it would be good because I say that because your career is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you put food on our tables. And we see you and probably pass you and don't even know it's you.
Yeah.
Yet it's something so very important and you have a lot of skill going into that. So I think it would be something great to talk about. And even that, as we talk about that, would you encourage other people to do what you do?
Well, I just try, as I tell you, I try it already. And me didn't get you, so me just leave people sometime.
Oh, so I get you. You got to read the room, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow you'll do it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
but don't give up at all. Keep working on them. You never know how far you're gonna go with this. So we mentioned you being surprised at receiving this award. Why? You said you were surprised at receiving this award, being nominated as.
Yeah.
Why were you surprised?
Because she didn't tell me nothing.
Okay.
So she was supposed to let me know that I could have set up myself more better than thing.
Well, maybe she couldn't tell you. Maybe she had to keep it.
She keep it as a secret, and I didn't like that.
Oh.
You don't like surprises, do you? You don't like surprises.
Don't like surprises.
But that one was supposed to be a surprise. She wasn't supposed to tell you that you were gonna get an award. You were supposed to become and be surprised.
She told me, just get just the 8. So I have to put her off the day. Didn't go fancy the day.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I was supposed to go fancy.
Yeah, okay.
I tell her that I'm going to stay home and get myself prepared.
Okay.
And when I do reach up there, she tell me, When I see we park, we going. I said, no, you should have told me something.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I'm on your side here, okay? So if it happens again, you got to tell you, right? I totally understand that.
So she'll definitely have to come from a different angle this time.
Yes.
If she wants to surprise you.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So what is I gotta ask you, because you seem so skilled. You're steering the boat. You know where to go for catches and so on. Is it that you have specific areas to go to catch specific types of fish, or you just kind of go wherever you want?
We have certain areas, and so we're gonna go and get the silk, the red snapper them. You go certain ways in the night. You get the yellowtail snapper them, and so.
You are on the sea in the night.
Yes.
For how many hours, Vertilli?
Let's say we leave from home 5 o'clock, and if the fish them do go, we come at 1, 2.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Wow. You work hard.
Have you ever gotten disappointed by your traps? Say you go out and you don't catch as many as you think. How do you deal with that?
Well, many times, like how this is Lent season, you ain't catching much fish right now. We go 40 pots them empty, 5 empty. You might find 1 or 2 fish in them.
Why though? Why around Lent the pots are empty?
Well, you not catch no fish.
So
and Lent.
They go somewhere else?
They go somewhere else, go hide down in the hole.
Oh, wow.
So this has happened over time, so you know that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Oh.
How do you deal with that? Do you keep going back every week?
Keep on working still.
Keep on working still? So it's not going to affect every area at the same time, right? So you might go to another area and then you might get, okay.
Let's say we put the traps them in this area here, nothing to here. We leave, take them up, and we kill them in the next area again. And then we work as that.
Well, you got to know which side of the boat to cast your net, right? And you're skilled, so I get it. You know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
I want to ask, I would say a little intimate question. When do you make your most monies in the year, and when do you make your least amount of monies? And you don't have to tell me the amount.
Well, to be honest, it's the amount of catch.
Okay.
When you catch a lot of fish, you make a couple of dollars.
And when would catching the amount of fish that you need to make the amount of money happen in what time of the year? January, mid-summer, December?
I don't know, so.
Okay.
Once the fish them are around to catch.
Okay.
And then you'll make the money.
Oh, okay.
So no experience with anybody going to your traps, right?
Yes.
You don't experience that.
Well, when we had them with buoys up, people used to pull them.
Oh.
So we do a different technique.
Wow.
So you can hide them, don't you? So you know where to go for them.
Me want to tell you that.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
I don't want to know what you did. I just kind of figure what you did, because I know that the buoys are one of the things that you do. You know, fish kind of stay around buoys and so on, so you always get that. But you have a technique. Because I was concerned. I was like, if it's just out there in the open, then maybe other people might actually take advantage.
With you could set out a fad and take way out in the ocean.
Okay.
And small fish will get around, and also the big one, like the mahi, and the marlin, and rabbit, wahoo and so.
Okay.
Will go around, and then you'll catch them.
Okay, so that's good. So you're talking about the FADs. Great, got it. You're skilled. I can talk to you all day.
Yeah.
But you have to make money. So I gotta let you go. I know, it's disappointing, isn't it? Yeah, that's true, because you're spending money on your gas.
The gas and the oil. You got to buy the gas, the oil. And you have to get money for you oneself.
Yeah.
So Vertilli, before we go, what does a fisherwoman do when there is no fish to be caught?
Well, what they will do?
What do you do?
Oh, what we will do?
Oh, yes.
When no fish catch?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just do something else.
Like?
Go and dig a hole.
And plant something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plant some provision.
Okay.
Because you got to feed yourself.
I like that.
Exactly.
Self-sustainable. I like that.
Exactly. Very skilled woman.
Yes.
Honestly, it's our pleasure talking to you this morning.
Indeed.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming, Vertilli.
And congratulations on your award again, and keep doing well.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. GMSCN Nation, that was Miss Vertilli Henderson. Stay tuned. Much more after this short break.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Thank you for staying with us and welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Is honesty really the best policy in every situation? Growing up, most of us were taught not to lie. No. But there is research that says that if mastered, lying the right way can actually help build connections, trust, and businesses. What? Is there such a thing as lying the right way?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you lying right now?
I guess you'll never know.
So, Jamie, when do you think it's okay to lie?
When you don't want to tell the truth. How about that? When telling the truth
So political.
lands you, absolutely, Cordensi. When telling the truth will land you into trouble, you lie.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the truth will not set you free.
Wow.
It will captivate you into discussions, debates, arguments. It'll just keep you wrapped up.
Well, we know that not telling the truth creates a lot of problems.
I'm not talking about a bold-faced lie.
Okay.
I'm talking about
A little
those
white lie?
fibs that, you know, when people want to know what you really think of something and you're like, yeah, it's good.
Like food?
Like anything.
Like you outdid yourself for cooking this. This is nasty.
Like something important to you or them, and you just kind of go, because sometimes you know, right, that they want to hear it from you, and while you might tell them honestly, I tried it, they don't want to hear it, they still want to hear it. You just gotta go, yeah.
Why do we feel better when people tell us things that we want to hear, even though they don't mean it? Y'all, just let's take the truth. It sets you free.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. No, I'm definitely not lying. No, I definitely agree with you that it's great in theory. In long term, it will, and you'll feel better. You'll feel lighter for doing it. But the question is, and you asked it, is telling the truth in every situation the appropriate thing to do? I don't think it is.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that if somebody is being abused and say they're hiding out, and the abusive partner comes and say, well, Hortensia, did you see, let's say, Molly? You're like, no, I didn't see Molly. But I very well know Molly's at my place chilling out. But in that case, that was a little white lie to protect my friend from being abused until we can do something about Mr. Abuser.
Try this on for size. We've got biblical characters, because a lot of us, we believe in the Bible and we do a wholesale. Yeah. Talk to Abraham and Sarai when they went down to Egypt. If I got my location right. Is she your wife? No, she's my sister.
She's my sister.
There you go.
Because
why was that done? To protect
her. Yeah.
Talk about all the people who are hiding out.
Or Peter.
When the army goes looking for them and the babies that are saved. Are you being truthful with the government who's looking for every child born at this date?
Yeah, boy.
No, you are hiding. Effectively lying to the powers that be.
Yeah.
To do what? We'll justify for the greater good, Hortensia.
But I think they picked up eventually, because how can somebody who that child doesn't belong to, the child just latch on to a nurse? I think they eventually found out, like, they were just fibbing to save this baby, because all male kids were supposed to be killed. And just like Peter, he was like, y'all see me hanging out with any Jesus, stop calling my name. He even went as far as being a gangster to cut off somebody's ear, because he just had to make sure his lie was palatable, so he was not thrown in jail or be persecuted like the others.
There you go. So guess what, guys? We've seen the examples. To lie or not to lie, that is the question.
But then they say sometimes lying. But liars, as they say, since we're on the biblical route, you have to deal with that lie forever, because it resonates and resonates and resonates and resonates. It doesn't go away. So, wow. Lying ain't good, y'all. It ain't good. Can't go to hell for lying.
Oh, really? It depends. Can you bring hell to earth for lying? Can you do that here? Can you bring hell to earth for lying? All right. So, has someone ever admitted to lying just to spare your feelings, to spare? Have you guys lied to spare someone else's feelings? I think
said at the moment we just wanted you to feel good. Yeah, I had friends like.
Well, they admitted it after, but I believe that there's some lies that are still going on because you believe them so much. You hold on to it for dear life. Hey, it's a lie, but you're not going to believe that at all. It's the truth. Hey, they told me the truth.
No. But that's good, at least when they can tell you afterwards. I was just trying to make you feel good at the moment, but you weren't good at all. Like your food, if somebody cooks bad food and you tell them you outdid yourself, and then you be like, you outdid yourself cooking bad food. You can tell them afterwards.
I'm going to tell you now. Landmine avoided. I'm not going back there to tell you that no, it's not going to happen.
So you're going to just make me feel good, very well knowing that you lied to me. Okay.
All right, how about we just avoid the truth? Because that's the other option. You don't have to lie. Woo! You just avoid the truth. Someone asks a question, you stay silent because you don't want to delve into the truth, right?
But that's basically not expressing what you want to tell them.
Is it lying, though?
It isn't, because you're not saying anything at all.
Can it be passively lying? Is there not such a thing?
It's something, but I wouldn't say it's lying.
True story.
It's just a... Okay, I want to hear this story.
True story. Doesn't apply to me, but I was looking at an interview, very interesting interview, and unfortunately I forgot the name of the anchor. It was sometime last week. But he was interviewing Donald Trump's current attorney, and the anchor basically said that Donald Trump was lying about the Stormy Daniels case because he was asked, did your attorney pay Stormy Daniels to be quiet? And Trump said to everybody watching, no, that didn't happen. When he played the footage for the attorney said, that's what you call a lie? I thought you meant perjury. And then he goes to qualify it, saying that there was an agreement. And so Trump basically had a gag order. He couldn't talk about what happened. So if he had said that it was true, he could have been, in legal trouble. So that was not to him a lie. That's what you call a lie? That's not. No, it's a lie that everybody knows it's a lie, right?
It's a lie.
But he's like, that's what you call a lie? That's not a lie. I'm like, that's not a lie? The world according to whom? I understood the rationale, but I'm saying, sometimes if you ask me and you what a lie is, yeah, it depends on the individual, doesn't it? Or the circumstances.
No. See, that's why, no offense, no pun intended to lawyers, this is why I can't be a lawyer, because what if somebody really did something and I have to defend them and get them off? I can't do that.
The rules protect you, so it's just what it is. You've got confidentiality.
But in my conscience, knowing that that person did it, what if they confided in me and tell me they did it? And I have to live with that for the rest of my life because I just have to do my best to get them off, very well knowing that they are guilty of it.
But it's not your job to prove that your client did something. It's your job to defend. It's the other side's job to prove it. So if they don't prove it...
But that's rough, though.
Yeah, but that's just the way the system works. Every system has loopholes. Every system is broken. That's just the way that works. So you learn to live with it. It's the way of the game, right?
I can't live with it, I don't want to be bored with a fork,
Well, that's you. It is what it is, right?
No.
So
no. And just like, let's talk about the lovely President Clinton. Look at him. He said no, and then he came back and he cleared up his lie.
Did you expect the guy to say yes?
At least he lived peaceably at the moment. That's why...
Did you honestly expect the guy to say, listen, there are just some things that are set up for people to lie?
But that was not a good lie.
What was he going to say? Yeah?
But he made himself look bad. Better he had said yeah and done. Like
how about that's none of your business, so you shouldn't ask.
Like how Trump had said yes, and then now his attorney wish he wouldn't speak that much. But Trump always says what he means, and I think Trump speaks the truth most of the time. But people don't take him seriously, because of who he is. But he tells you what he does. It's like, yeah, I did that.
Wow.
I really don't care. But people don't take him serious because of who he is. And I think they should really take the man serious. He's telling you the truth most of the time.
All right, so here we go. Times when you should probably lie, according to an article by Time.com. Are you ready? Here we go. If you have someone's best interest at heart, we said that already, so we're going to progress to the other one. If there's no time to change, that is to think about whether the person has the time to react to the information and control the situation. So there's no time to change. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you kind of just...
Sticking to it.
Yeah.
So at that moment, those two presidents stuck to what they told.
We just set, I said it to you before, we just set things up for people to lie. What did you expect them to say in that situation? Are you kidding?
Oh, I did it, and I'm sorry.
Because you asked if you would expect the truth. Who are you
because
to be entitled?
he still came back and apologized, and that's why I love him so much, because he was humble enough. He made a mistake, and he was humble enough to come back and say sorry.
Let's talk about the fact that Linda Tripp lied when she recorded Monica Lewinsky. Illegal recording, by the way.
And said she didn't do it.
So two names come up. Star Tripp. Here we go.
Terrible.
In any event.
Terrible. So she lied. You lied.
Oh, well, this one. If you are giving constructive criticism, according to Time.com, it is okay to lie.
No, tell me when I'm terrible. Tell me when I'm saying the wrong thing. I want to know the truth. The truth shall set me free. I don't want boofed up rights for doing nonsense.
Cortensia, here's what we do, right? Those of you in HR, those of you who have any managerial experience at all, you know what we call the sandwich approach, or even just dealing with your children. The sandwich approach, right?
Let me hear this.
You make it palatable. You make the constructive criticism palatable.
Okay.
So you layer the bad part in between. That's your meat, right? In between the bread, which is the good part. So I started, Cortensia, you did a good job today. But there's one thing that I want you to work on. So, and this is X, Y, and Z. And if you work on that, it'll be great. But overall, you did a good job today. So I just wanted you to know that.
Okay.
You see what happened? What did I do? That's what's called the sandwich approach.
Yeah, you butter me up nice and then you let me down easy.
And I left you on a high note, right? because I said,
You
but
came
overall,
back with the same thing.
that's
Yeah.
the sandwich approach.
Mhm.
Identify when people are doing that to you. If you want it rough, go to the middle. Forget the bread.
You did terrible, that's all. Right before a special occasion, like my friend, she couldn't tell Vertilli the truth because it was a surprise. They were supposed to come and not know that they're being awarded in their categories. So that was a little white lie, Vertilli. She couldn't tell you. She just had to bring you out for the surprise.
One more note, and that's true. One more note on the
Yeah.
constructive criticism part.
Right.
I avoid the truth.
You-
So for some people,
How you avoid
you remember
truth?
that? Lying versus avoiding the truth, or if you're giving constructive criticism, how about I don't criticize? How about I say nothing at all?
And this is why I don't like. We
That
have to
works.
say something.
Not necessarily. Depends. You don't want to be in the lion's den, do you? You want to get your head bitten off?
No, well, Jesus might come and save you just like you say, Daniel. How about that?
Well, he can take the wheel, but there's no wheel in the lion's den. So it's not gonna work, right? So yeah, there are some times when silence is better because you just know,
At least
and
you
it's
can-
like, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, not today.
But silence should let you know that I don't want to say anything because it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just figure it's not to be received based on experience, so you just go,
But you
yeah.
know, but do you know some persons might get offended at your silence because they're trying to, they might think that you're thinking it's bad, although you are thinking it's bad because you don't.
Because it's bad.
Because it's bad. But they get offended. It's like, oh, you don't want to say nothing, but you're thinking something. Because, you know, people are, yeah, you're thinking something.
And I'm entitled
Wow.
to my thoughts. It's fine. They're mine.
Well, it is said that the truth shall set us free, but I don't know how many people the truth.
You know what? You keep going back to that good book. You sin in word,
Indeed.
thought, and in deed.
Indeed, uh-huh.
So the same offense, basically, that you think you're committing, you get pre-charged. Yeah, it's like, oh, it was word, it was said. It's like, yeah, my thought, I might think it, I don't have to say it. It's fine, I'm avoiding trouble. Hey, it's in here, it's not coming out of here. And that's it. Constructive criticism, some people might be constructive, you might do whatever. Everything gets messed once it leaves your lips because you have no control over how people hear it. You know what? Keep it in. That's what I
And
do.
that's why we have to be forgiven, because everybody that lied was forgiven. Even when they try to cover up the lie by killing somebody else. Yeah, so forgiveness is the key. So folks, although the truth sets you free, as Jamie said, sometimes don't say anything. Even if they get offended, at least you didn't say anything to offend them. So let them be offended by the silence and only do the white lies when it's necessary to save your friend from abuse. Or even if you're going to be kidnapped and somebody walk up and say, are you co-attention? Do I look like a co-attention to you? Jet. Yeah, so it works then.
My signature move, Cortensia.
Zip it. With
That's
that said, see you after this break.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
That's it.
An exotic experience.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It's time now to let you know what's happening. Here's what's happening. St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment T-shirt Design Challenge. That's what's happening. So create a design inspired by the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment T-shirt Summer Camp 40 theme, and you can win attractive prizes. Here are the rules and guidelines. Designs must be hand-drawn on an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper, must incorporate the Department of Youth Empowerment logo, must use no more than 5 colors, and participants must be between the ages of 8 and 16. Additional guidelines and rules available at the Department of Youth Empowerment at the 3rd floor of the Cable Building on Keon Street, so you have to go there to find out what those additional guidelines are. As for the prizes, they include a drawing tablet and free camp submission. The deadline is April 24th.
It's fast approaching. It is fast approaching. So the countdown to the 49th anniversary of the Nevis Culturama Festival continues. If you are interested in participating in any of the Culturama shows, here are the deadlines. The Senior Kaiso contest, the deadline is April 28th. The Soca Monarch contest, the deadline May 19th. Mr. and Mistress Talented Youth, Mr. and Miss, the people aren't married as yet, quite handsome. Mr. and Miss Talented Youth Pageant and Junior Kaiso Contest, June the 2nd, the best day in the year. And Junior and Senior Culture Street Parades and Emancipation Juve Troop, July, I don't know why I like to say Juve Troop, July the 7th. So yeah, go and sign up, go and sign up, go and sign up.
All right, so that's what's happening. Now you know what happened because you watched the show.
Yep.
And here's what's not happening. We're not going to be around for another 2 hours. But we want to thank you for joining us today for another edition of GMSKN. We invite you to tune in daily to find a little bit of everything for yourself and the people that you know. Get your friends and family to watch if you can. Also, remember to follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and YouTube at Studio 327 Inc. We're also on Instagram at the same handle, but even more so, we're on Instagram again at Good Morning SKN. That's the handle specific to this show. So like, subscribe, follow, and share, and visit our website at www.studio327inc.com to learn more about Good Morning SKN and Studio 327.
Yep, and leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And see you tomorrow, Thursday at 8 a.m. when you will wake up bright and early, stretch, grab your coffee, turn on your devices, even at work, yes. Bosses, kindly allow them to start their day with us. You will have productive employees. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bye.